Hi, Tony DeWitt here, Missouri appellate attorney and a guy who likes to make the law make sense on YouTube. But today, we're putting all that aside. I'll be with you in just a second. So it's Christmas time, and it's that wonderful season, the season when all things seem possible, and you see the joy of discovery in children's eyes and all the wonderful things that come with this time of year. But I haven't always been a lawyer. As many of you know, I was a respiratory therapist for 13 years. And during those 13 years, I celebrated a lot of Christmases in unusual ways. Unusual in that when I was a staff therapist, I volunteered to work on the holidays because I wasn't married, and I wanted the people who had kids to spend time with the kids. And then when I was a manager, I worked on the holidays because I wanted my staff to have time off on the holidays. As a result of that, when there is a tragedy and it strikes close to home on Christmas, it can be a real bummer. But sometimes when you work in a hospital, you get this most wonderful feeling, and I don't know if I can explain it, but it's this feeling of having made a real difference. So it was Christmas in 1980. I was working as a staff therapist at Kirksville Osteopathic Hospital, and I was pretty much brand new in the field of respiratory care. And I was assigned to work in the neonatal intensive care unit. Now, things have come a long way since 1980. But in 1980, the only way we had to measure the oxygenation in a neonatal-sized infant, a child that would fit from the tip of my fingers, not even to my elbow, we had something called a transcutaneous monitor. And what this transcutaneous monitor did is you would put a little drop of solution on it, and you would put it with an adhesive to the chest wall, and the little thing on the monitor would heat the skin underneath to about 40 degrees Celsius. Well, 40 degrees Celsius is enough after 2 hours to give you a first-degree burn. And so every 2 hours we had to move that, and at the same time, we had to make sure that we weren't giving the child too much oxygen. It isn't really well known by most people, but neonates can't handle a great deal of oxygen because the blood vessels in their eyes are so tiny, and oxygen is a potent vasoconstrictor. It will reduce the size of those veins and arteries in the eyes. And so you have to keep the amount of oxygen high enough to sustain life, but not any higher, because you don't want to have what at the time was called retrolental fibroplasia and what is now called retinopathy of prematurity. It was basically damage to the retina from having too much oxygen. Well, it was Christmas and we didn't have a lot of staff. So I wound up working 12 hours on and 12 hours off for 6 days straight over the holidays, next to the bed of a small little boy who had been flown in or had been brought in from another hospital, a rural hospital that could not take care of him. And I sat there and monitored that TCM and adjusted the ventilator, sometimes minute by minute, to make sure that the child got enough oxygen, but not too much. It was very precise work. It was very stressful work. And when I left that hospital, I went home and slept like the dead. I did that over 6 days. The child continued to improve. And although the child was there for over 3 months, and when he left, the nurses who were there had all gotten together and quilted him a baby blanket. That tells you how special the people felt about that child and his family. And he went home and he grew up to be a normal child and had a normal childhood. I followed up with him a few years ago. I'm not going to mention his name. He knows who he is. And the feeling of having participated in something great, something bigger than yourself, was probably the very best Christmas gift I have ever received from anyone. And certainly up to that time, it was the best Christmas gift I had ever received. So this year at Christmas, I would ask you to do yourself a favor. Make a difference for somebody. Maybe it's the guy standing at the corner with a sign that says, "We'll work for food." Maybe hand him $20. Maybe hand him more. Maybe buy him a cheeseburger. Do something. Make someone's life better today. It is a gift that you give yourself when you give unto others, because nobody is ever left poorer by helping someone else out. If you've enjoyed this message today, let me know in the comments below what your life experience has been like when it comes to giving. Thank you for participating in my channel this year. Thank you for helping me reach my subscriber goals and actually achieve more than that. Thank you so much for everything that you have done over the last couple of years. Thanks again. And again, like, share, subscribe. You know all the things we ask you to do. But for the most part, just go out there and have a wonderful day. Merry Christmas, everybody. If you like this video, here are a few others you might try, and don't forget to subscribe. Have a terrific day, guys.